So my name's Sophie Thomas and I'm founding director of Thomas Matthews, a communication design agency, and I was founding, director of the Great Recovery Project for the RSA. Sustainability and circular economy really need design and vice versa. So from all the statistics that we've been researching since I started designing, it's very much about this kind of principle statistic. 80% of the environmental impact is predetermined at concept design stage. So when I put my pen to paper or I start working on a design, I am thinking about the specification of materials. I'm thinking about how I'm going to design this product, this piece, whatever, what I'm ever going to be working on. But I'm also working with the brief. The brief has come from a marketing company or has come from a business. And actually, so the whole design chain that sits around that, sits around me as a designer to produce that object that will then land on a shop shelf somewhere or become something in society is so important to how we think about the whole, not just of a product, but about the system around it. So my role in that chain is fundamentally so crucial. So if I can get educated, if I understand the impacts and my environmental choices around that, then that's a big benefit. It's a really positive shift towards something that is actually could be very sustainable. So I think the way that consumers will change in the next 15 years could go two ways. Could go as we have gone, business as usual. So we take stuff out of the ground, we make it into product, we use the product, we consume it, we think, oh, I don't really like pink, I want blue, or oh, it's not working as it used to work and I want another one, I'm bored of it, or it just breaks. And we get another one and we throw it away, we can't be bothered, we chuck it away in a drawer somewhere. So that's kind of the situation we're in now. We could carry on in that for the 15 years. However, what's interesting about new models like the circular economy is that it kind of pulls the two, the take and the waste together at that top point and says actually the materials in that product are really, they have value. They're not negative value, they actually have value. And if we think about it like that, we stop thinking about products, we start thinking about logistics, we start thinking about designing systems, and that's kind of what it is. It's about new business models based on a whole system thinking approach, which designers are very good at. So instead of me designing a product for a shelf, it's about me designing a system for a service. So not a light bulb, but the fact that I can see after dark. It's that kind of thinking. So as a consumer, you then don't become a consumer, but you become a user, or you become an interact, sort of almost like you start having a conversation with your brand, because you're saying, well, actually I don't like this product, so I'm going to send it back to you and you can replace it to me. Or it could be that I bought your product, I think it's great, but can you sell me something else to go with it? So it's very much about the relationship. If we actually really consider the true cost of the environmental cost of making something, so for instance if we had an extraction tax, you would start to get that equilibrium happening of the fact that a new product wouldn't be cheaper than having something fixed. So it's about the rebalancing of how we think about the stuff around us and how we consume, and putting value on things where currently we haven't put value, or almost as a negative. It's kind of like shoved into different areas. So I think that there's that, but there's also another thing that comes into play, and that is the fact that a new customer is 18 times harder to get than keeping your old one. So if you think about my relationship with a brand or something, your relationship with a product, if you really like that product and then the brand decides to think about, well, actually I'm going to start selling services around that, or build it in to say, I know you really like our washing machine, but we know that it will the motor or something in that washing machine might fail in about 5 years. If you give it back to us 4 years time, we'll give you the new brand new one, which is the super deluxe model, we'll take it back, we'll fix it, we'll upgrade it, and we'll be able to sell it on a kind of cascade model design. So you have a kind of relationship with that brand where you actually think, this brand is great, I'm going to stay with this brand much longer than I would, instead of shopping around saying, well, they didn't really give me a good enough deal, I'm going to switch to someone else. And that's where the value can lie. Well, I think that Eunomia has a great future because you have a very, very interesting and inquiring mind and curiosity about the stuff that actually really matters. So this isn't about doing reports for report's sake, but this is about like finding something that's niggling you and keeping you up at night and going, hold on a minute, I want to go and look at that and I want to research it. And I think that kind of passion of finding the right in the world and finding opportunity in that right is the best thing. This is why I get up in the morning and go to work, because I think actually looking at how we could build a better planet, whether it's through the way we design things or to do with the fact that you're exposing something that is that needs exposing and is wrong and it needs to be corrected, whether it's legislation, whether it's through bad business practice, etc., is just so important. And I think people who are going into new jobs, the next generation of designers, particularly from my point of view, are looking for things where they can match their social responsibility that they have within themselves is super important with where they work. So there is no need for people to leave their ethics and their kind of their belief system at the door and then go to work and then pick up on the way back. The integration of that is the way forward, and that's where you lot shine through. Happy birthday!
Oh, wow. All right.